Sienna God, hello all. Good afternoon, and Wado. Thank you for watching. This is day 30 of reading Lone Wolf Alpha Squad copy over by James Rink. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm learning a lot about the government. Just kidding. About the government in this book. Of course, about this man's experiences himself, but I'm excited. I want to hurry up and get through this because I really want to read the next one. And it's how I'm hoping that it will be about not buying what everybody's selling. Like, that's what I really, really hope. And I want to uncover like why they're doing it, how they're doing it, etc. And I'm really, really, really hopeful that this book will do that. If not, on to the next book, right? After we finish reading it, of course. But anyway, here's James's experiences. On another page, I see you lying in a large glass-looking green pyramid. There is a gurney-like cot underneath it, and you are lying on top of that. The pyramid comes down over your upper torso and rests on top of your head. Green electrodes are attached to your skull, and somehow they are able to interface you with a computer terminal. A technician can then type in code words, upload in any memories, or edit in certain time lengths they want in your brain, such as combat capabilities, weapons, usages, etc. At that point, you are sent out for combat, but they seem to be using you mostly for reconnaissance and intelligence gathering operations. I also notice that while you are gone, they put a clone of you in your place to live out your life. After they were done, they extracted the clone and its memories and placed them back in you while in this pyramid thing. The memories of combat would then be deleted, and the memories of your clone would be placed into you, and you would then be put back in your bed. Man, that's crazy. End quote. I feel there is some truth to this. I have vague memories of lying unconscious in a dentist chair, mouth open, and doctors with face masks poking needles into my mouth. I believe this was possibly memories of my clone in a trip chair. She then tells me how they really seemed to crank up their usage of me around January 2006. Around that time, I bought a backpack that had the word recon stamped on it. I think my handlers had a laugh or two about that one. That was the extent of the information she could find. It was a start. However, I wanted all my memories back, no matter how traumatic. Since my health was so poor, the only way I knew I could fully recover was to let go of these repressed traumas. But how could I, if my memories were being mind-effed by exotic classified technologies? Worse, they are messing around with cloned avatars and shape-shifting abilities. So if I do remember, I may be in a different form and different body, which makes it all too unreal. Despite the extensive lengths they've gone to erase my memories, I have been able to recover some of them. In one image, I saw myself outside of the White House. Bush Jr. waved his hand at me. I felt like I was working with Secret Service and my job was to debrief the president on something. In another image, I saw myself looking through an old abandoned building in a desert region. I could see paint peeling from the wood siding. I was in camouflage. I think I was on a training exercise. I also have memories of combat missions in Iraq. I remember seeing a tank on a desert road. Say that 5 times fast. I was breaking down the door to a latrine to shoot an Iraqi in the head with my machine gun. Another MyLab who remembers being with me on this mission puts a twist in the story. He says that during World War II, the government was building a weapon using alien technology. The Japanese thought it was in Pearl Harbor, but it was actually in Iraq, which was controlled by the British at the time. Fast forward to the present day. Somehow the local population got hold of these artifacts, so they sent in a team of super soldiers to exterminate them. I remember flying cargo planes and being in the cockpit of advanced aircraft. I remember being on a tarmac inside a mountain with a saucer craft levitating out of gigantic pod bay doors. In another memory, I saw what appeared to be an atrium that leads out into 4 corridors. The atrium was painted white and the doors had an LED light you had to press to open them. The inside was flooded with sunlight, but what's strange is that when I looked up into the glass pyramid roof, I saw a dark, starry night as if I was in outer space. Another memory that I had was breaking into an old 1960s decorated room filled with old mainframe computers. I broke in from the lower level by popping up a floor tile. Not quite sure what that was about, but I'm guessing I was sent back in time to do something. In another memory, I saw myself wearing camos, black boots, and a camo patrol hat. I was in a facility that appeared to be cylindrical, and the center contained a room where the general resided. He handed me a paper. I saluted and walked out. I shared this with another MyLab, and he remembers something similar. The facility had a green color and a central office and the central office was the command center. Inside, oh, this is in quotes, sorry. My mind was wandering because I was thinking about the 1960s decorated filled room. You know, like back in the day when they were doing like testing, like nuclear testing. And they say like whenever a bomb is detonated, like atomic bomb, whatever, everything is freaking decimated, right? Yet when you see these testing videos, they have like these mannequins, these cars, these houses, whatnot, and they survive it. What? You know what I mean? The blast radius alone, like it would just annihilate everything. And not to mention the fact that it's got that daggum radiation in it, you know? So yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like those towns that they built or whatever, and the cameras stayed put and stuff. Like, I mean, what would those have to be locked in? And so, and like, how come things aren't just incinerated, bubbly, and or blown over, or whatever it is, or I don't know. Gotta do a video on that one. So in quotes, the facility had a green color, and the central office was the command center. Inside there are a number of people at the computer interfaces dressed in black gear, embroidered with a Nazi SS stormtrooper insignia on the collar. The central hub would have been a silver metal complex connecting to green offshoot corridors. One leads to a lounge area, which is a different color, and that opens into other areas. There is also a main computer area where MyLabs place data into computers, but they are highly drugged and controlled. There may also be a lift that may take you to a loft or wing where the commander resides. He had his own lush office. He compiles data on each MyLab and photos of them in the civilian world. Wow. He thinks he is smug and full of power, that one. There are also training areas. This is part of a larger facility. Space Fleet Command is also connected, end quote. Gosh, that's incredible. Chapter 13, Aftercare. According to SSP veteran Olivia James, the mind-wiping implants and targeting that 20-year and back SSP veterans usually experience falls under the aftercare program. At the end of a typical career return program, a SSP veteran is expected to assign, oh, it's probably a sign, but it's a space SIGN, a huge stack of paperwork. What? And sign. That's probably what it's supposed to be, and not a. And sign a huge stack of paper. Yeah. We are told that we can trust them with their care over our lives and how wonderful it is being rewarded. The right to returning back to planet Earth as a civilian again. God, I can't even imagine that. There is a retirement clause in the huge stack of paperwork which grants handlers permission to control the SSP veteran's civilian life in order to prevent leakage of SSP memory compartmentalization. Okay. The handler will monitor everything in the SSP veteran's civilian life through implants. They think they are too strong and the veteran cannot defeat them, but their power and systems are failing. In my case, my SSP contact dictates that they own me in this life and in my next life as well. I was forced into the aftercare under duress, and my parents handed me over to the SSP groups. The government also consents, not consists. The government also consents, so they're cool with that. The handlers do not think they will have bad karma for making the SSP veterans so miserable because they believe we have signed up for this under a dual layer of consent. If you attempt to denounce these agreements within your civilian life, your respective SSP military contractor will issue a new handler in order to continue maintaining control over the SSP veteran. The goal of aftercare is not death. If you can withstand pain and suffering, then you are free to not follow the plan. While the SSP veteran continues their awakening process, the handler will push buttons, gaslight, and make recommendations for the next step of control. They will create pain and disease in the body to bring the SSP veteran into total misalignment. They will destroy friendships, finances, and businesses. The goal is to not recover, but not die either. Wow. When the average SSP veteran is re-aged and returned back to their body, they are often are given, so this is a typo, an incomplete chemical re-aging treatment instead of a full medbed regen remake. This results in organs which could be 30 years older and sicker inside, oh man, than what is seen outside. This works great for aftercare business. The veteran will be sick for all of their life, and the handler can use that to further control them. I think aftercare wasn't the success, okay, these typos. I think aftercare wasn't the successful on me, okay, because I am an ascended angel in human form. They destroyed my health and life, but I resisted the pain of aftercare and pushed through it despite what they wanted. In 2010, I started Super Soldier Talk, interviewing experiencers in the SSP in the hopes we could share gifts to help each other. In time, I began working with a team of people who could remote view, read Akashic records, and mind hack behind programming and walls, helping us see what we were prevented from seeing. Excuse me. Early on, I was like, where's my spot? Early on, I tried many methods to help recover memories. Regression technology was the most useful tool, but I also tried reserved speech analysis on some phrases such as, am I a super soldier? And in reverse, I hear, that's not real. I am not supposed to talk about it. Not adopting the reality seemed to be probably be the very thing, but it says be very thing my subconscious mind was programmed to do. One area of high interest to me was trying to determine why I didn't remember as much as other experiencers. Hang on a second. So the reason why I'm like, is because I was like literally thinking as I was reading, because I'm a veteran, you know, and my body seems to fail me at times, right? More than I would like. And so it just kind of makes me wonder, like, what are they doing in general, right? I'm not claiming to be a super soldier. I'm saying, what are they doing in general to veterans, like to military people in general? And then when they become veterans, like poop hits the fan kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, have you seen a lot of super healthy veterans? I'm just saying. And it's coming out about like things being on different bases and stuff. And like, if you have this, then you are exposed to this water or this flame retardant or the, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. Anyway. Okay, so one area of high interest to me was trying to determine why I didn't remember as much as other experiencers. My friend Adam, who was on the same squad as me in the SSP, more about him later, scanned me using his third eye and saw an implant behind my left eye in a spot which sometimes gives me headaches. Adam tells me, let me try to turn it off. Doubt I can. I know what the device says, though. It has letters and numbers, PVS 1-22002, so 22002. That's what the chip says on it. It's manufactured by Braun, B-R-A-U-N, oh my God, Inc. But there is also a different vein that shouldn't be there. What? The vein is pumping some kind of drug into your pineal gland or near it in the back. What? Peter the Insider comments, this implant delivers a micro-injection stream of drug cocktails which turn off my psionic powers into my body via teleportation activation points through the implants. Peter the Insider tells me that the implant has now broken down and dissolved, but my body created an organic copy of the implant. What? Which is part of my physiology now and continues to pumping the drug into my pineal, limiting my state of being. This may explain why in Alter I can be so telekinetic. I can lift an elephant, but in the here and it says no, but here and now I am docile and weak. My dad tells me when I was 7, he remembers coming home from work and I was levitating off my bed. He prayed over me with the Bible for it to stop. Perhaps this was an alien abduction scenario. Perhaps my unhindered Alter's superpowers were convinced into believing that it was now a demon by my dad. All right, I'm gonna end it. Done to go hang, you win a good channel. Let's go tell me again. Love you, mean it.